Greg Jacobson, Tully, when you came over to WWF as the Brain Busters, did you request Bobby the Brain to be your manager, or were you told, hey, he's going to be here, he's going to be your manager? Thanks for all the memories. Greg says hi, Tully and Paul. Greg, great question.
I think if I remember correctly, Bobby requested, Arn would have a better answer to this but in our negotiations with Vince and everything, it was more of a Bobby the Brain thing, and the Brain Busters and the hierarchy at WWE came up with that. And so, it was all good. We had a bit of an argument over what our logo sign was going to be. Arn and I didn't agree with a brain with a circle and a line drawn through it as our logo. So we bowed up enough that wasn't our logo.
That's good. At least you had a little bit of some say with the WWF. Arn makes it clear. I'll tell you one thing we weren't allowed to do over there, and that was this.
No.
That was a no-no.
Oh yeah, you couldn't do that. Because there were enough. The first time we went to TV and working for them, there were enough Four Horsemen signs, and they had security people running through the audience pulling that stuff down.
Oh yeah, that wasn't a brand McMahon created, so you weren't going to be getting away with doing that.
No, no.
Matthew Rodriguez question: did you ever meet Wyndham Rotundo, aka Bray Wyatt, and if so, any memories, Tully?
I don't think I did, because I've been busy doing other stuff, and I didn't the wrestling companies had come to town, and I don't go hang out in the dressing room, and I don't go lollygag, because my life is a different life now, and other than autograph shows and now the podcasts, which are awesome because I get to answer the fans' questions. But I knew Rotundo pretty well on the road when him and Barry were partners up there, and I don't think we wrestled them either, but I didn't meet his son.
Yeah, and it makes total sense. Like you said, your life went in one direction, and everybody else's lives went in different directions. And as you were saying when you first got on, you haven't really been on the loop, if you will, for appearances and things like that. So not a lot of opportunity there for you.
No.
Amy Vaughn has a funny statement. Wonder what kind of grades you think Tully got in his speech classes. You were so good with the promo. I'm sure you were straight A's in those speech classes now, weren't you? Or is that when you broke through and finally got the confidence to
talk? Well, I will tell you this. I was not a straight A student in college. I did graduate with a B, 3.4. Or a 2.4. And my son, Tanner, and my daughter, Tessa, my son graduated at the top of his class. And Tessa is on the dean's list every semester. And she's got 2 more semesters to graduate. And when they were babies and in their mother's womb, I prayed for children to be much smarter than their dad. And God blessed me with very smart kids.
Isn't that funny how it works? Maybe it skipped a generation, Tully. That's what I say about my kids, because I got a son who's taking honors classes and this and that, and I'm like, what? I was just trying to get that B or that, you know what I mean? Just trying to do what I could. But it's crazy how that happens, isn't it? 900 miles from normal, by the way. He wants to know your thoughts on the Mulkey brothers.
The Mulkey brothers.
You know, they did make the Crockett Cup the one year. I think one fell over on
I
another.
hadn't thought about the Mulkey brothers.
That popped them. You just popped Tully, the Mulkeys. I love it. They were white and pasty, had white hair. I mean, come on. They had bellies that guy would have slapped the shit out of their head. Oh, I love it.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, man. Mulkeys. All right. Well, you haven't seen him since those days, I'm sure.
Turn the page.
Turn the page. Oh, man. He goes, by the way, for the record, 900 miles from normal. He says, it's 900 miles rounded up from my hometown of North Charleston, South Carolina to Normal, Illinois. So literally, he's 900 miles from Normal, Illinois. So there you go.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Lion 2012, big fan from Toronto. We need Tully Blanchard in the Toronto area for a meet and greet. I've watched Tully since the mid-'80s, watching NWA and New York State Channel, living in Canada. We need an Arn and Tully meetup. Isn't it something? Here we are. We're sitting on the internet. Who would have thought this in 2024? We've heard from the UK. We've heard from Toronto, Canada. And people, you know, and to your point, they want Arn and Tully together. Will you ever write an autobiography? I know you said you're 70 years old now. What about Arn? He just did a comic. Will we get a Tully comic?
I spoke to a writer about 10, 12 years ago about writing an autobiography. And a lot of work was done on it. A lot of money was given, and I can't find the author.
Do we want to put him on blast here? We can find him. We got about 500 people that'll track him down right now. Oh man, that's too good.
Anyway, but I think that now that I am semi-retired, that may be one of my things that
a lot of great wrestling books out there, and I'm sure your story with the twists and the turns, Tully, would make for a great read for sure. Yeah. Love that idea. DJ Trevor Owens, hear me out. No Ric Flair, Tully would have been a great world champion. What do you think about that? Because he says, think he could have held the reins? Because absolutely I do. I'm sure you've heard that before, Tully.
No, I was too small.
And that day.
Pardon me?
In that day. Nowadays you have Rey Mysterio's, Brian.
Yeah,
Daniel.
This was still the era of the world champion, NWA world champion, traveling to all the different territories, and it was semi-political. My dad was not political at all in the wrestling business, and it was something that I maybe had a fleeting moment, but I was much better as a heel, local champion, world TV champion, United States champion, world tag team champion. You know, I had enough championship belts, although the NWA world champion sure got paid well.
Yeah, see, there you go. Could you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, here we're 530 watching, the big gold around Tully Blanchard's waist? Come on. Under that nice black velvet robe or the red velvet robe, open that bad boy up and seeing that big gold belt. Were you a fan of the big gold, or did you like that NWA Dome Globe belt?
I didn't I mean, what it stood for is what
Mattered to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to post this one. It's a super chat, and then we'll start to put a bow on this. He said, Horseman forever. Unless you challenge Rick for the title, then they beat your ungrateful, good-for-nothing, stabbing traitors' backsides, and they would kick you out of the club. So, he was a huge Horseman fan. And if you can follow along with that, better, fantastic. But, man, that's how the Horsemen were, though. Let's be honest. You guys were a club, and you kicked a lot of ass in your day back in those days.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.